Can I distract you for a moment and just ask who you think are the other Einsteins of the 20th century?
I don't think there were any.
Okay.
I don't think there were any. I think he was, Newton, and an ancient Greek that you probably never heard of named Aristarchus were the three great geniuses of physics, I think.
Because I'm not sure I have heard of Aristarchus, maybe
not.
it's worth
Probably
a
not.
minute or two just saying who he was or what he did.
Yeah, Aristarchus was a Greek astronomer, physicist. I suppose you could call him a philosopher. I never liked the word philosopher very much. I never quite knew what it meant. He put together so much of what we subsequently knew and understood about the universe. I'm not talking about modern cosmology. I'm talking about Copernican cosmology. Copernican, that the Earth goes around the sun doesn't go around the Earth. He put that together, and for very modern reasons, incidentally. He understood that the motion of the planets was much better described by a sun at the center and planets going around it than the Earth at the center and everything going around it. He figured out how to measure the distance to the sun. His instruments were not sufficiently precise to make that measurement in detail, but he did figure out that the sun was at least 60 times further than the moon. It's much more like 400 times further, I think. He was the first one to realize that the stars are very, very far away, much further than the planets. And he understood that. You know what parallax is? Parallax is how things seem to shift in their relative positions when you move your head. Okay, so he knew that from the motion of the Earth around the sun, which he had figured out, that if the stars were closer, you would see them apparently move in the sky as the sun went around the Earth. That's called parallax. You know, you're seeing the stars from different positions, and you should see them apparently move unless they're so far away that the angles are too small. So he was the first one to understand that the stars are very, very far away. He was unable to say how far away. There was a whole bunch of stuff which took almost 2,000 years to recover, up to Copernicus and later and others, that Aristarchus had figured out. Copernicus knew about Aristarchus. He even writes about it in his book. So yeah, he was one of the great geniuses of physics. What happened to him is all of his writings were lost.
In Alexandria, or?
No. I don't think it was Alexandria. I think it was before that. I think the Romans probably destroyed it. But a handful of his disciples, including, I think, what's the one who sat in the bathtub and said Eureka? Archimedes. Archimedes knew about Aristarchus and others, and they mention in their own writings what Aristarchus had discovered. So he was, to me, a great hero.
Okay, well, thanks for that. That was really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Hawking though. Before I derailed you, so
Right.
You don't think he's not up there with Newton, Aristarchus,
I don't
and
think
Einstein?
So. Well, you know, it's a matter of opinion. I wouldn't say no, and I wouldn't say yes. Was he in the class with Feynman? Yeah, I think he was in the class with Feynman. But then there are numerous people throughout the 20th century who were Dirac. In the first half of the 20th century, I personally think Juan Maldacena is in that class. And,
well, the paper on the ADS-CFT correspondence has certainly had its impact.
Yeah, Hooft was a great physicist in the same class, for sure. So I don't think we would see Hawking as an absolute singularity, in the sense that Einstein was, but certainly one of the great physicists of the 20th century, and deservedly so.